Thank you very much. It is 6 o'clock, and we appreciate all of you that are gathered here and all of you that are joining us on social media and YouTube. At this time, I'll call the meeting to order. Please note that all board members and the superintendent are present. If you would, join me for a moment of silence. Thank you very much. If you're ready, you stand with me and take the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. You may be seated. Item C is to adopt the agenda, but before we do that, we just learned that there are two items we were just made aware of today, Mr. Stowe.
So I'd like to request that we amend the agenda. If you would look at the action agenda section, I'd like to add item H. Item H would be conditional approval of an easement for the city of Lancaster on the GCHS property. We'll discuss that when we get there. And an additional agenda item I, a contract with McDowell Wellness Center for use of their pool for our swim team.
Okay, has everybody got that? All right, with these additions, do I have a motion to adopt the agenda? Mr. McQuarrie made the motion, is there a second? Thank you very much. All in favor, let it know by lifted hand. All board members were in favor. The agenda is adopted. All right, under item 2, communications, one of our favorite parts of the board meetings is recognitions. And first of all, we have the Danville Office Equipment Support Staff of the Month.
That would be you if you don't care.
I don't mind it.
The support staff member of the month this month is Tiffany Skeens. There she is. Come on up. Ms. Skeens is an amazing advocate and support for all her English language learners and their families. She works with over 50 students throughout the district from kindergarten to 12th grade, and every student knows she'll do anything she can to help them succeed. It's not unusual for her to visit her students' homes and bring pizza, hold babies, or just sit at the kitchen table and talk with kids and parents to see how she can help. On a recent mission trip to El Salvador, she visited the past school of one of her Garrett County students to talk with his teachers in order to understand what his educational program was before she had him, and to let his past teachers know that he's still loved and doing great at GCHS. Ms. Skeens has the biggest heart for her kids and works tirelessly to meet all their needs. She goes above and beyond every single day and is exceptionally deserving of this honor. So we recognize Ms. Skeens as the Danville Office Equipment Support Staff. This month, our Whole Latte Love teacher is unable to be with us, so we'll recognize her next month as well. So if it's okay with everyone, we'll jump on to our students of the month. We have 2 students from CDR. One is a catch-up from last month, and one is for this month. We'll begin with last month's recognition for Hudson Hampton. Yes, I can. You guys can come on up.
Okay.
Hudson is a 3rd grade student at CDR. He's an awesome Bobcat. He's always in school prepared. He always has a great attitude. He always works hard, and he always shows respect. And he always has a smile on his face. He does a lot of stuff all the time, doesn't he? And he has a willingness to help. He is a kind and caring student, and CDR is thankful that he's at CDR. Congratulations.
Beautiful.
Great job. We had our big Christmas performance today.
Oh,
so already in there. Thank you, guys.
It goes with us?
Cool.
For the front
Thank
yard.
you.
And then the second student from CDR, this month's recognition goes to Alex Phillips. Alex is a second grade student at CDR. He is such a hardworking student who's always prepared. He's kind and respectful to his classmates, going out of his way to help a friend when needed. Alex is both a terrific student and a terrific friend. CDR is proud to recognize Alex Phillips.
Thank you so much. And we don't have the clock.
They're right there. Our next recognition is for Lancaster Elementary, and it's Braylon Alvarado. Braylon is a third grade student who is new to the school, but is already making a huge impact on her teachers and her peers. Ms. Tyree states that Braylon is a very positive student. She's always looking for the bright side of things. She's kind to her classmates and often helps those around her. She's very hardworking and asks questions to improve her understanding. Lancaster Elementary is proud to recognize Braylon as student of the month.
Thank you.
Next from Paint Lick Elementary is Mallory Denny. Mallory is a fourth grade student, and she's always trying her best, finishes all her work. She works well with other students and tries to help them when they need it. She's a wonderful reader and so intelligent. She's been a great addition to Paint Lick, and Miss Hayes says that she is so happy to have her in her class this year, and that she looks forward to seeing what else she can accomplish this year. Congratulations to Mallory Denny as being Paint Lick Elementary student of the month. Our next student is from Garrett Middle School, and it's Gavin No.
He's trying to beat Ferristown right now.
He's what?
He's trying to beat Ferristown right
So we'll let him do that. We'll recognize him next month.
Yeah.
From Garrett County High School, Tate Davis. Tate is a sophomore at Garrett County High School, and he has a heart of gold. Tate loves to share laughter and funny videos. Tate even found out that one of the high school secretaries liked group figurines, so he bought her one to add to her collection. Tate always asks if you're having a good day or if you'd like to see something funny. Tate is a wonderful example of what it means to be a golden lion, and we're very fortunate to have him at GCHS. Congratulations to Tate on being named the Student of the Month.
We're gonna put that in the yard.
Kevin, you want
Well, that's plenty of place out there. Item B is site-based decision-making minutes, and we have them from all our schools, and I trust that all board members have had an opportunity to look over those, so there's no action to be taken on that. Item C is audience comments, and Viviana, did I say your name right? Weaver. Is Viviana here?
Yes.
Hi. Hello. Is that okay for you? Okay. Hi, I am Viviana Weaver. I'm a sophomore at Grand County High School. I've written something to you before. You may remember me. And I'm here to talk about COVID-19, how it's affected me, and some of my opinions on mask policy. I don't speak for all the students at the high school. I can't claim to do that, but I know I speak for a significant portion of my peers. I would like to start off by introducing some important figures. And some of those are the vaccination rates in Garrett County, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard before. 52% of ages 12 and up are vaccinated, which means 45% all ages are vaccinated, including children that are often too young. An important thing to note about that, though, is that in our elementary schools, very few children are vaccinated, or at least fully vaccinated, because vaccines haven't been opened for a lot of the younger children yet. We have an average of 8 cases a day of COVID-19 in Garrett County, a lot of which result in hospitalization. This is up 50% from 2 weeks ago. And we've seen a trend increasing, especially as the Omicron variant becomes a lot more prominent here in the United States, and that will move to Garrett County very shortly. We have not seen an increase in deaths very recently, but the trends in deaths do tend to follow by about 2 weeks to a month. The trends in cases. So it's very likely that as we begin to see this trend in cases increase, we will also see a trend in deaths. Garrett County is right now considered an extremely high-risk area for transmission rates, which is due to us having an average of 38 cases per day out of 100,000 people, and our test positivity rate being over 10% right now, which are some pretty critical numbers. And the CDC actually recommends that in an area such as ours, that even vaccinated people remain masked in public in order to provide as much safety as possible. I think it's also important to note that cases typically spike after the holidays, which are coming up. It's very exciting. And last year, we remained virtually after the holidays, which I think was a great decision. It probably made a huge difference. And I think we should keep that in mind again this year because the cases always increase after the holidays. Everyone gets together, everyone has a good time with their families. I've noticed recently a lot more teachers have been absent from my classrooms, and a lot of that's not COVID related at all. Everyone has different stuff, and with the tornado recently, some teachers have had to be absent due to that. I've had to spend about 5 classes this week in the cafeteria with administrators because we don't have enough subs to go around, and that's you can still learn when your teachers aren't present. But it becomes a lot harder when you don't have a teacher there to ask questions and to help you on assignments. I feel like it would be really detrimental if we had more teachers absent because our classes are already starting to fall behind with how many classes we've had to miss this week. And I can only see if transmission rates grow that this becomes a more prevalent problem. As well as our teachers here in Garrett County have managed virtual learning over the past school year. Nobody wants to learn or teach virtually. It's hard for everyone. It's hard to ask insightful questions. It's hard to submit work. It just gets very difficult. And the level of learning is definitely decreased. And I feel like if we have a chance to react right now and stop that from becoming a possibility, then we should take it. This is our chance to be proactive instead of reactive, to take on COVID before it takes us. This is our choice right now. This is our chance. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Very eloquent.
Thank you.
Appreciate that so very, very much. All right, item D is board members, and before I turn it over to the board board members for any comments they'd like to make. This is, Mr. Stoll, this is a season of giving, and, on December 25th, we'll be celebrating the greatest gift that was ever given. My fellow board members and I would like to share a
Thank you.
small gift with you to show
Thank you.
our love and appreciation for you.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you.
So hope you can use it.
All right.
Board members. Thank you very much. Next, item E is the superintendent, and I believe we have a construction update.
So we're just going to share some brief stuff about that. We don't have anything major, but in January, you'll have some schematics to look at. Klopfelter Sandcar is here tonight, and they've reassured us that that should be something that's available. They've received a survey from the high school, and that allows them to start looking at placement. We did have a meeting a couple of weeks ago that was when I say high level, I don't mean it was important people. I mean, it was from a high angle to give them a little bit of information on how to make some decisions. And so they've started their work around that idea. You've made no commitments of any kind. You've made no decisions at this point. So when they come in January, we hope to be at a spot where you'll be able to make some choices and decisions. We are also waiting on KBE to give us the clearance, and we believe that that will happen in February. So our fingers are crossed about that. That's about the extent of what we have on construction as far as an update, because we, again, haven't done anything at this point. We've also had the personnel changes that we've provided to you since the November board meeting. And as most of you know, we've had some significant changes that have occurred since then, and even within the last 48 to 72 hours. So we would love to tell you always that we have no changes, but that's not the time in which we live. And so we want to make sure you have those so that you can look at those. Any questions on any of that?
Okay, item 3 is reports, and item A is treasury report. Did all of the board members get to meet with when you met with Mr. Stowe? Okay.
So you all have had a chance to see the updated report, and you know that there is a variance of about $800,000 this time. I know that you've had a chance to look at that. If you had questions, I'm sure that you have reached out to Ms. Coffey. We also want to make sure that we share with you at this time the bond update. Bonding potential did increase slightly this month. You went from 28.1 to 28.8, again, because of interest rate reduction. And we'll continue to keep you up to date on that as each month passes. The bills that are presented, normally it's under one attachment. This time it's under two, just because of the technical glitch. You have the regular payables plus the food service payables that have been separated out. You see those on a weekly basis. So this is just to comply, to make sure that you've had an opportunity to see all of those.
Okay. All right, item 4 is the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve all the items on the consent agenda if you don't have anything you'd like to pull out?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
And Dr. Lamb made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Ms. Davis seconded. Any questions or comments? All those in favor, let me know by raising your hand. Okay, all board members were in favor of the consent agenda is approved. The next item on our agenda is the action agenda, and item A is to approve a contract for supplemental testing by
Mine's side?
Mine's aye.
So as most of you know, we are at a time, not just in Garrett County, but across the country, where there is an increased number of referrals into special ed. And in order to make sure that we can comply with timelines, we would like to request the ability to contract with Mind's Eye on an as-needed basis to make sure that we meet all the timelines and guidelines, deadlines that are out there for us. This does not necessarily mean that more students will go in. We're not trying to do that. We just want to make sure that the referrals meet with the appropriate need. And because of the numbers that are out there, it's very difficult for our staff to get all of that done at this time. So my recommendation is that we approve a contract with Mind's Eye for testing and evaluation services.
Okay, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, Mr. Hurt made the motion. Do I have a second?
A second.
Ms. Davis seconded. Are there any questions or comments? All in favor, let me know by lifting your hand. All board members were in favor. Item A is approved. Item B is to approve a memorandum of agreement with the Kentucky Department of Education for Shauna Howard.
This is step one in this process. This is to get your initial approval for this. We don't have the contract with us yet. They can't do the contract until they know that you will approve this or move toward approving it. She's been offered a position in the Office of Special Education and Early Learning. It's a great opportunity for her. You all know that an MOA means that she remains our employee, but she is paid by KDE. Her vacancy will be filled just like a normal vacancy would. And she will stay on that MOA as long as that contract is available. So my recommendation is that we approve the initial MOA with KDE for Shauna Howard.
You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Okay, Mr. Query made the motion. Ms. Davis, did you second?
Okay.
Ms. Davis seconded. Do you have any questions or comments? I believe you're familiar with the memorandum.
We've done a couple of them, yes, sir.
All in favor, let me know by lifting hand. All board members were in favor. Item B is approved. Item C is to approve a special education para-educator for Langston Elementary School for the second semester of 21-22.
So with the increased numbers, we felt like it was worthy of us placing an additional adult in that MSD classroom. We only want to do that for this coming semester. It will be paid for through ESSER dollars. That's an approvable expenditure, and we have the funds available to do that. So it's not a general fund requirement in any fashion. Again, this is an ESSER opportunity, so it's my recommendation that we approve this additional special education para-educator for the second semester of this school year.
Okay, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Do I have a motion?
I move we.
Ms. Davis made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Hurt seconded. Do I have any questions or comments? Yes, sir.
I have one question. We use extra money for everything that we can, and it's necessary. But when this money runs out, will it come before the board to reapprove this position, or will it automatically then come out of budget?
No, this is just for this one semester, and it's
Okay.
just for that one semester with those dollars. If we were to think that we needed it again, we would have to come back to you because we wouldn't have your approval.
Then that would be a different decision,
Yes, sir.
possibly according to what the finances are at the time. But right now, that's the only reason I asked the question.
It's correct.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anybody else? There's none other. All in favor, let me know by lifted hand. All board members were in favor. Item C is approved. Item D is to approve scrap of multiple food service items, Mr. Stoll.
So we've posted some pictures for you. Hope you had an opportunity to take a look at those. There's some relatively small equipment compared to some of the things that we've requested before. It's my recommendation that we approve the food service request to scrap these multiple items.
Okay, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Mr. McQuarrie made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Hurt made the second. Any questions or comments?
Question. Is this a case of either we scrap them out or we have to store them forever,
Problem.
Pretty much.
taking up space?
Did you see the pictures?
That's, on my part, it's a very good thing to go ahead and scrap them, because I think we have some things that would be considered antique that we've stored.
Thank you, sir. Anybody else? All in favor, let me know by lifted hand. All board members were in favor. Item D is approved. Item E is to approve updated playground construction for the 3 elementary schools in Axtell.
You all approved this at the last board meeting, but there was a question about whether or not it was fully ADA compliant. So we went back and did an update on that to make sure that not only the surface was, but the equipment was as well. That's a significant increase in the amount. If it had been a very, very small amount, we would have probably moved forward, but we didn't want to do that because of the significance. I think the last time we talked to you, it was like $960,000. The request we're now making is for almost 1.5 million. We do have that in ESSER dollars. We went back to confirm that. Again, this is a turnkey project where once we start the work, We don't have to worry about other pieces being added to it, and this would bring us in compliance in all three of the schools. So it's my recommendation that you approve this updated construction project, and we'll ask them to start on the paperwork for it tomorrow if you approve it tonight.
Thank you, sir. You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Dr. Lamb made a motion. Do I have a second?
Second,
Davis Beach.
that's fine. I submit that they did beat me.
Yeah,
This is very important.
yes, he's very
Good
good.
job.
All right. Any questions or comments? And if you looked at the 3D pictures, it's on their agenda, it looks pretty good.
I think it's very important, very pleased that we're meeting the ADA
Oh,
requirements.
yes. And I appreciate all those out in the
Comments.
community that gave us
Yes.
input. Appreciate so much. All right, all in favor, let me know by lifting your hand. All right, all board members were in favor. Item E is approved. Item F is to approve school calendar for 22-23.
Hard to think about it that way, but the calendar committee meets each year and comes to you with a recommendation. That recommendation is based on information they receive from the community and information they receive from the staff. They did a survey of the staff following information that they received from parents. If you saw the vote, you know that there were some similarities between the calendars, and then there were a couple that were different. The recommendation that they're bringing before you is very similar to this year's calendar, with more time up front for our staff to prepare with a transition day and what we would classify as the later fall break and the later spring break. So my recommendation is we approve the calendar committee's proposed calendar for the 22-23 school year.
Okay, you heard the superintendent's recommendation. Do I have a motion?
I move that we accept the calendar.
All right, Ms. Davis made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Hurd, second. Do you have any questions or comments? All in favor, let me know by lifting hand. All board members were in favor. The calendar is approved. Item G is to approve an updated COVID-19 plan effective January 1st, 2022.
There's been a COVID plan that has been in place throughout this entire school year. The plan is only going to change in one area if you approve it, and that is making masks optional. But let me be clear about a couple of things. Buses still have a requirement. The ATC does not get to move with us. The ATC, because they belong to the Kentucky Department of Education, have to comply with KDE expectations. So even though we're their home district, they cannot make the determination to do that. Their determination is based on a matrix that they have, and it consists of the local community being in the either yellow or green for 2 consecutive weeks. At that point, they can make that decision. But we want to make sure that everyone is clear on that. We can't impact that. That's not a decision that you all get to make. So there is really no other changes. We would still continue to quarantine, except we would now quarantine those people without a mask, looking at 6 feet instead of 3 feet. We continue to operate a test to stay. And that's one of 3 options if you're asked to quarantine. The 3 options would be that you're out for 10 days, or you test after day 5 and return after day 7 if you have a negative and no symptoms, or you test to stay and you test for 5 consecutive days and you can return each day that you have a negative result. Currently, we're slightly over 98% on our effectiveness with the test to stay. We believe the numbers of people testing will likely go up if we do this, because you have to have a wider array or a wider circumference in order to accommodate those people. So the only change that you're considering voting on today really is the opportunity for parents to make a decision about whether their children are masked and the staff to make a decision about whether they're masked. My recommendation is that you approve this updated plan effective January 1.
Also, if things go south, we probably revisit this, take care of the situation.
So we've had a neighboring district that has done that. They had their masks down early November. They've been back up for the last 2 weeks. And so that is something that can be done if it's necessary. I talked to some surrounding districts, just so you know, the number of cases have not gone up. The number of quarantines have gone up. But that's because of what I had shared with you earlier. One of the districts has a test to stay, and so they haven't had much of an impact. The other one does not have a test to stay. So in that environment, there are some students who've already been quarantined 3 or 4 times this year just because of their exposures to what's going on.
All right. You've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the COVID-19 plan effective January the 1st.
Thank you, Dr. Lamb. Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
All right. Mr. McQuarrie seconded. Do anybody else have any questions or comments?
I'd like to say to Viviana, I appreciate you coming forward and sharing your concerns and your numbers and your thoughts. This is sort of a difficult decision, but I think with some of the things that we have in place and after having the surveys that were taken and the inconsistency that I'm seeing and hearing really concerns me. So I will go along with the new plan, but I did want to say thank you for coming and speaking
Yeah, very
to us
helpful.
tonight. Thank you for that.
Mr. Stubbs, please pull that
Survey.
survey up.
Sure. While we're doing that, there was one piece that I did forget to mention to you. We have a partnership that connects to our preschool, and there can be a federal requirement around that. And if that occurs, we will be asked to comply. We still don't know exactly what that means. There's been a suggestion that anyone who works with children in the early childhood area would have to be fully vaccinated. And so that would appear to be a mandate. But at this point, that has not occurred. The option that we think would happen outside of that mandate would be a testing on a weekly basis. And our staff could use our test to stay if that did occur. We can't speak clearly to that right now because I don't think anybody can speak clearly to that right now. I mentioned to you the ATC, I mentioned to you the buses, I neglected to mention that, so I wanted to make sure that was there. The survey results that we received are there for you to take a look at. We did staff, parents, elementary students, middle school students, and high school students.
And I'm assuming that a close observation will be maintained on statistics, so that if, as Brother Jerry said, it does go south, we can make an immediate decision to make a change.
Yes, sir.
And what about the machines in the room? Do you feel like that they're adequately cleaning and the air?
So we think that the disinfecting piece is working well. I think we're getting better at that process, like you would with anything that we do. So at this point, we're pleased with that. Most of you know that they have now been identified as a partner with the Mayo Clinic. So we feel like it was a strong move on our part to go that route. So yes, we're comfortable with that right now.
With these different options that we have in place to try to increase the cleanliness and the lack of, and not spreading, that gives me some peace of mind, I suppose. The sub situation is very concerning. That's probably going to happen just because of the winter, people getting sick, but that is a real concern. And having to group people together, there are a lot of negatives with that.
Can't argue that. And I think anybody who's in the world of education, K-12 in particular, understand that there are a shortage of bus drivers and there are a shortage of subs. And if we could answer those questions, we would make a lot of districts envious of us if we had solutions for that.
And I spoke to one of the janitors at CDR the other day, and I think their day starts at 6 o'clock. They told me that the cleaning process in the bathroom is taking longer. They can't complete it before students arrive. And want to know if there's some way that could be rectified. I don't have an answer for it.
So we don't have that complaint from anywhere else. So if we need to do some additional training with them, we can do that. We can work toward that and find out what the issue is. Each of the schools have received some new cleaning devices. And if that's inhibiting, we can go back to an older method.
It's just the bathroom process. I didn't realize it was that involved in the bathroom. Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, anybody else? All right, all in favor, let me know by lifted hand. All board members are in favor. the new COVID-19 plan is approved. Item H is conditional approval for easement for the city of Lancaster. Would you like to speak to that, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir. We've been working with the company who's doing the work for the city. It's been a little bit of a challenge. It's in the area that is our farm area. And so we've already had an occasion where we've had our cows,
Johnny Thompson.
have our cows get out. And that's a concern for us, not only from the livestock end, but if they are out on the road and it led to an accident that involves someone, that would be a problem. So we've been working with them for a period of time to try to resolve this, and we've had some challenges with it. So we've held on requesting this easement, although we agree that they should have the easement. What I'd like to ask of you tonight is a conditional approval. That meaning that you all say, yes, the easement is granted the minute that they show that they can secure our cattle for us. First, it will be a temporary, and then it will follow with a permanent fencing. And so once we see that, I'd like to be able to tell them, yes, you can move forward with this, but I'd also like to make sure that you're not approving it 100% tonight until we see that that area is safe for our cattle.
Does everybody understand Mr. Stoll's recommendation?
This is part of the sewer update that the city is doing.
Okay.
And the easement is to avoid having to take down a section of trees that would make it much more expensive and could even impact homeowner, value because of the nature of the tree. It's just a small area. It'll have very little impact on us.
Okay, thank you. Okay, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Mr. Hurt made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. McCray, second. Do you have any further questions or comments?
I just
Yes, ma'am.
thought of our construction plans, and I know we haven't made any final decisions, but will this in any way impact that?
It is literally right up against the land, the boundaries, and it's not in an area that anything has been looked at up to this point.
Okay,
That
That was
was
it.
my question too, but that was the only thing that, I see no reason not to. And I think it'd probably be very wise to hold the subcontractor, contractor, or whoever's doing the job to do a better job of fencing and to prove the easement, because that makes sense. And the city has worked so well with us in the past, and we've worked with them. It's been a mutual understanding that we work together. We do better working together than we do opposing. So nothing better than the Lancaster City Police and the job they have helped us do, and we have helped them have more people too. So I really don't see a problem with it being conditional. I think these people have an overseer. The contractor has somebody over them to hold their feet to the fire. And then they have to answer to the mayor too. So hopefully with this, they'll be able to do some of that, which they may have not been able to do in the past with this easement. He can have no excuse for not going up.
I went out today with the mayor to look at the area. On the bottom part of it, there has been a solid permanent fence put in on either side of the right of way to the tanks back there. The existing fence that we have between our property and the houses is okay, with the exception of a couple of areas which had to be patched, but they'll be fixed permanently. The only thing that they have to do outside of that is put a temporary fence between where the cattle will be and where they'll be digging a ditch up through there. And it doesn't impact a great width of property at all.
I think one of the, in the sake of trying to be fair and straightforward, I think one of the main complaints from the contractor that's trying to do the job, he's put up electric fence before. And he puts up electric fence, and it may be out there now without a, power source.
What happened was.
Every
the power
time he
source-
puts a power source up, someone decides that they need it worse.
And they stole the power source at $300 or whatever it was on that, so they're gonna have to make an adjustment on that, and the mayor did say that he would not write the check until it met our specifications.
But I mean, that will be up to the mayor and the city, law enforcement to figure out some way to keep the power source in the proper place. And no matter what someone else thinks is their greater need, to make sure it stays there, but I'm sure they're well up to the task.
All right, we ready to vote?
They are.
All in favor, let me know by lifting your hand. All board members were in favor. Item H is approved. Item I is, contract with Bell.
As you all know, in order for us to have a swim team, we have to have a place for them to swim. And we are willing to enter a contract with them, with McDowell Wellness, for our students to have that access. I apologize that we're bringing it to you tonight, but we just received it today, and we do not want to delay the opportunity for the students to have access to that. I have copies of the contract if any of you would like to see them. There's not a problem that we can see with the contract. It would be something that would be fairly normal, the kind of contract we've entered with them before. So I'm comfortable with that, but I'm happy to share that with you. I have it here today if anybody wants to see that before you make a vote.
Then we'll look at the contract before we take a vote. Good?
So my recommendation is you approve this agreement with McDowell Wellness Center.
Okay, you've heard the superintendent's recommendation. Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the contract.
Ms. Davis made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Heard second. Do you have any other questions or comments?
I understand they practiced outside last year, so this is good. So, and in a heated pool, but it was outside, so this is good.
I'm about to say, in the early 2000s, I came to a board meeting and it was pushing for us to have a pool for our swim team, and it got shot down big time.
That was a thought. That was a dream. That was a thought of me.
All right, we ready to vote? All in favor, let me know by lifting hand. All board members were in favor. Item I is approved. That leaves item 6, Mr. McCreary.
Make a motion to adjourn.
And Mr. McCreary made the motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
And Mr. Hart seconded. All in favor, let me know by lifting hand. All board members were in favor. We're adjourned. Thank you all for joining us on social media. And it's good to have a blue presence here tonight. So I appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Those students of the month, they're scary.
Somebody, get somebody to borrow that power source.
Yeah, we will.